This sport has helped me so much in my life. I think my jaw is broken, by the way, so yeah. Let's go! It's definitely broke.
I'm a little fucked up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
There's a unique kind of silence that exists only at the summit of the heavyweight division, not the hush of emptiness, but the crushing stillness that follows impact so severe it drains the air from an entire arena. 4 or 5 rounds, the world watched the digital era provocateur try to maneuver around a physical force of nature. Then, in the 6th, that force finally surged forward. When Anthony Joshua's right hand landed, it wasn't merely a strike. It was an abrupt return to reality. As the count rang out across the venue, the confidence that fueled the spectacle gave way to something far more serious, a moment that snapped everyone back to the stakes of real heavyweight power.
My mom wanted me not to fight Anthony Joshua. I should have listened to my mom. My dad pushed me to this now. I'm alone in the hospital. Got to eat liquid now. Anthony Joshua be ready for a...
The image of Jake Paul stretched out on the canvas is already burned into boxing memory, but it was what followed that truly sent shockwaves through the sport. As the arena erupted in celebration for Joshua, a far more sobering scene played out in Paul's corner. There was no talk of moral victories, no relief in lasting longer than expected. Only trainers urgently checking responses, and a medical team moving with real concern. In an instant, the event shifted from worldwide entertainment to a genuine health emergency. Joshua remained alone at center ring, a stark reminder that while boxing may be business to some, at its core it remains a dangerous, unforgiving contest.
Congratulations on your win tonight in Miami. How are you feeling right now?
Calm, chilled, good to get the win, but there's a lot I could have done better. So a bit of mixed emotion.
Like what?
Could have done a lot better, cut the ring off, maybe done what I done in the 6th, 3rd, 2nd, even in the 1st. But our wins are good, and that's why we're here talking about.
You talked about having the weight of the boxing world on your shoulders, like the purists, right?
Yeah.
And how do you deal with that type of pressure when the media is so fickle? 1 minute they love you, 1 minute they hate you. Do you feel that even though you won tonight, you're still not going to be pleased?
So with the media, how I operate the media is you got negative and you got positive. So I do honestly focus on the positive. I don't really focus on the negative. And secondly, I just understand that while I'm in the hot seat, so let's say there's a seat, and right now I'm elevated to that hot seat, I gotta take all the shit that comes with being in that hot seat, and then once I move on from that hot seat, no one's gonna care about me anyway. So I just gotta...
That's not true.
It's true, it's how it goes. It's how it goes, so I know how it works. I understand the cycle. I'm currently in that motion. I'm dealing with some shit at the minute, but it won't last forever. Have some tough skin, and then in a couple of years, I'll be sitting back watching someone else deal with that shit.
Thank you,
Come
guys.
on, champ, have some tough skin, you'll be alright.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for
Good
your
to
time.
see you, Michelle.
Great to see you too.
Fight fans, God bless.
Inside the locker room, the mood shifted quickly, from disbelief to real concern. Speculation spread almost instantly. Whispers of serious injury, a shattered jaw, even urgent transport to a trauma unit began circulating. Joshua, typically measured and respectful, was unusually direct afterward. He made it clear that while he respects anyone willing to step between the ropes, his instinct in the ring is purely destructive. This wasn't just a victory on paper. It was a complete breakdown of another fighter's resistance. That edge wasn't symbolic. It was tangible, and the consequences were immediate, with his opponent headed to the hospital before the post-fight media even had a chance to assemble.
We think he broke his jaw. He's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower. He drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA. And I think the recovery time from the doctors and surgeons we've already talked to is 4 to 6 weeks.
The full scope of the injury didn't become clear until hours later, and the images left little room for interpretation. This wasn't a minor fracture or a routine break. It was severe, multi-point collapse of the jaw. When the x-rays surfaced online, reaction was immediate and intense. The visible displacement in surgical hardware made one thing undeniable. This had crossed far beyond spectacle. This was the price of attempting to close the distance between online fame and elite heavyweight power. Paul's confidence didn't disappear. He continued to talk about returning quickly, even floating timelines that ignored medical reality. But the truth painted a far harsher picture. Recovery from an injury like this isn't measured in days or weeks, but months, potentially involving immobilization, surgery, and a long, painful rehabilitation. Whatever narrative surrounded the buildup, the aftermath made one thing clear. This wasn't entertainment anymore. It was consequence.
Jake Paul, he stated he had to do surgeries. He broke his jaw on 2 different locations on both sides. He lost many teeth that he has to replace, or he replaced already. And after that, Jake called out Canelo. But he need to focus on Gervonta for real, because Canelo gonna do him dirty. With that being said, Jake said, quote, "Just got out of surgery. Everything went smooth. Thanks for all the love. A lot of pain and stiffness. Gotta eat liquid for 7 days, even on Christmas." So, to the amazing team of Miami University Hospital, everyone was so gracious and caring. Double broken jaw. Give me Canelo in 10 days. Jaw broken, heart and balls intact. Time to rest, recover, and return to cruiserweight. Okay, now that's a smart thing to do because he did fight a super heavyweight in AJ. But I don't think it's going to be any sweeter at cruiserweight, but we'll see.
And that's where the word everyone is quietly circling starts to surface. Retirement. The headlines are already leaning into it, and not without reason. When an injury reaches this level of severity, the question stops being when someone comes back and shifts to whether they should at all. While some of the retirement talk is clearly fueled by clicks, the reality shows up in the forced, open-ended pause now in front of Paul. This isn't something you shake off with optimism or bravado. A facial injury like this demands time, caution, and reflection, and sometimes it forces a hard look at how much runway is really left. He's spoken often about being a disruptor, about having heart and belief. But even the strongest will has limits, and there are moments when the body makes a decision before the mind is ready to.
Tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you is that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best. And I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept on trying to get up. And I take my hat off to him. So America, I think you have someone who could potentially, if he still has the heart for it, come back again, dust the dirt off his shoulder and come again and maybe sell out this center sometime in 2026. Maybe against a Gervonta Davis, a Ryan Garcia, who knows?
Within Paul's inner circle, the response has been exactly what you'd expect. Protective and defiant. Logan Paul quickly stepped in as the older brother, praising Jake's toughness and insisting his mindset remains unshaken. But in the unforgiving reality of boxing, mindset alone doesn't carry you through moments like this. Ability and resilience do. What many once viewed as an unbreakable influence of boxing wave finally ran into something it couldn't outmaneuver with confidence or promotion. Critics have been quick to note that this outcome was always looming once a master of marketing was placed across from a proven, world-class finisher. It was never really a question of whether the collision would happen. Only when
Jake lost because of the size difference, not because of the skill difference. AJ was hanging on that neck, pushing him down. And when you have someone that heavy constantly doing that, it does suck the energy out of you. AJ talked about sucking out or taking out the man's soul. He didn't take out his soul. He did take out his energy, and that's when he was able to get the finish.
And just a quick follow-up. Obviously, we don't want to look too far into the future. I know you said Jake wants a break. He's going through some, he's coming off a tough fight. But, I mean, like, it seems written on the wall that that would be an obvious fight to, look forward to in the future. Could you see Jake versus Francis Ngannou?
The whole situation with Francis was very confusing to me. And he's done a couple of interviews, back and forth on terms of how he thought about our conversation. I think Francis is a revolutionary when it comes to fight sports. He stood up against the UFC, showed what kind of man he is. And this process was just, again, a little bit confusing for me, given who I know who he is as a human being.
Adding yet another wrinkle to Fallout was a response from the self-proclaimed Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, rather than giving Joshua credit for performance. Fury used the moment to provoke debate, downplaying the win and suggesting he would have ended things far sooner.
I am the man. I ain't a YouTuber or a man half your size. 37-year-old at the end of his career, fighting a YouTuber, a Disney Channel guy, who Tommy B, and now he's talking about killing and all that to try and sell.
Oh,
please. Barking the wrong tree, idiot. You're a classless loser coming off a 15 months knockout defeat to a local lad. Imagine if someone from Morecambe knocked me out. If I ever come across you, bum, I'm knocking you back out. You big bum, useless dog.
It's a familiar tactic in the heavyweight mind game, but it underlines an odd reality. Jake Paul's defeat may have done more to speed up the path toward a Joshua-Fury clash than many expected. Even in loss, Paul remains a trigger for major shifts within the sport. Though for now, he's witnessing it all from a hospital bed rather than the spotlight.
Fury, listen, we'll see you in September.
Is it realistic, you think? I mean, it's been 7 years, right?
We'll get it. You'll get it. You'll get it this year.
Thanks, sir.
Pain has always been part of the business, and controversy has never stopped selling tickets. Even with the severity of the injury and the very real chance that Paul's durability may never fully recover, rematch discussions began almost immediately before the scene had even settled. There's a grim fascination in watching what happens next when momentum is violently interrupted like this. Does an experience like that strip away ego and reset perspective? Or does it harden resolve even further? The question now isn't just if Jake comes back, but who he comes back as.
Paul didn't get in there to win last night. He got in there to survive. And he didn't do a better job of surviving. He sold the fight brilliantly. That's what he is. He's a salesman. And he's a YouTuber, influencer, call him whatever you want. So from that perspective, he did his job, but he never got in there to win. He just got in there to got beat up. I'm glad Anthony Joshua done a number on him. This is why boxers are boxers, YouTubers, whatever they want to call themselves, influencers. They should stay in their lane and fight people that they're supposed to fight on their level. This guy was never on Anthony Joshua's level, and Joshua did what he needed to do, did what he had to do for the sake of boxing, and blow this guy up and just knock him out.
What about the fact that Jake was able to land on him clean a couple of times? What did you make of that?
Oh, listen, you can't get into the water without getting hit. Fortunately for Joshua, that guy can't break an egg, so he was never in any danger. He's always going to get hit back. I mean, it was 6 rounds. Anthony Joshua was always going to take at least 1 or 2 shots over that 6-round period, but it was nothing to hurt him. It was nothing to bother him. And like I say, this is all about getting AJ's confidence back. If Jake Paul fights, if he fights KSI or KFC or whatever his name is, then those two are evenly matched, aren't they? They're evenly matched, and then they could fight, and then because they're evenly matched, they're both YouTubers, aren't they? They should get that on. I'd probably stay up and watch that.
Yeah, that's the most funny gag you've ever.
What unfolded wasn't simply a knockout; it was a reckoning. Anthony Joshua reaffirmed that boxing has layers that can't be skipped with promotion, money, or online momentum. At the highest tier, the consequences are real, lasting, and unforgiving. On the opposite side of that moment, Jake Paul showed that he does possess the nerve to step into elite territory.
What did I just watch? All right? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is over. Thank God it's over. What a joke of a fight. I was hoping that I could at least give Jake credibility and saying, you know what, he took this challenge. Even if it's for a lot of money, he still had the guts to walk to the ring and all this stuff. So I was hoping you know, you're gonna get knocked out anyway, dude. Like, I was hoping I could say, you know what, because he earned the respect of boxing fans by going out on his shield. Guy just ran for his life. I just watched Jake Paul run for his life for like 5-6 rounds. Literally just run for. He was doing football jukes. You guys watched that fight? Ring was big. I made a freaking point about that ring being big, and he used it to his advantage in terms of survival in every way he could. I mean, this guy literally never tried to win a second of the fight. He was trying to throw a home run punch every once in a while. And notice every time he got in the clinch, he just went down. Like, he just hugged Anthony Joshua and then like would go down, and the referee would call it a slip and give him a break. And like, he would just kill time that way. Then he was completely angling off. He was completely blading his shoulder off completely to the point where he's so bladed off that he can't even punch. He was just trying to make himself as small of a target as possible. Now, Anthony Joshua, people are going to say, oh, why didn't Anthony Joshua catch up to him? Because Anthony Joshua never had fast feet to begin with. And Anthony Joshua, honestly, should have probably cut off the ring a little bit better. That's my one critique of Joshua. He probably could have cut off the ring a little bit better. Joshua's always never really had the best feet, but in terms of cutting off the ring, he could have at least done that. But honestly, what do you want the guy to do? I mean, this guy ran for his life in a 22 by 22 foot ring. That ring was huge. That ring was huge. I can't believe what I just watched, guys. I'm seriously, like, dude, that's it. This was AJ's chance. Could have went out on his shield and his chance to say, yeah, get the respect of the boxing community. This was the one that could have got him the respect of the boxing community. This was the one. He came out with all this rap crap and doing the Hulkamania crap and all that other stuff and all that stuff. You know, and I'm thinking to myself, is he that calm, or is he literally just setting up his own demise? I don't know. AJ came out to the ring really serious, which would you expect? And then, I mean, he never fought. Jake never fought. Like, he never fought the whole fight.
As everything settles, what remains is a striking picture of the sport's dual nature. On one side stand a heavyweight star, confidence surging, openly setting his sights on his greatest rival. On the other is a young man who chased the summit and is now left alone with recovery was a payday and the global spotlight were the permanent reminder written in the bone. Some will frame it as bravery. Others will see it as a cautionary tale. Either way, this time there's no talking around the outcome. The cost has already been paid. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.